I take the pizza back. My father goes, "No, not in the shul." I give out my Jewish son eating pizza on Yom Kippur in the shul. But that wasn't all. I'll tell you what a wicked son I was. I took the pizza, ran it into the shul. My father chasing me, trying to pull the pizza out of my hand. Didn't go into the shul. I went to the basement, found the janitor, and said, "What's the score?" For the rest of the service, I hang out downstairs in the basement with the janitor. St. Louis 5, Boston 3, 1968 World Series. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Just so you know what your rabbi did when he was a little devil, opposed to a big problem. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So, the point is, what do we do if you pull a Moshe and bring pizza accidentally or even intentionally, and you eat leaven, you eat chametz, not like I did when you take the pizza into the basement, but you eat chametz unintentionally. And I'm sure it's never happened to anybody here. And I'm sure that this year, or maybe last year, by accident you forgot it was Chag Matzot, and you ate leaven. I'm sure that has never happened to anybody here. Which, by the way, is one of the reasons Yahweh says get out of your house, because you can't control yourself. And you don't know what you're doing. And you wake up in the morning without coffee, and you might swallow leaven, let alone eat it. In other words, Yahweh knows us better than we know ourselves. He said, get out of the house. All right, but what happens if we do eat chametz? Here's the solution. It's called teshuvah. Repent. What does repent mean? It means stop, get rid of the leaven, and return to not eating chametz. Stop, get rid of the leaven, burn it, throw it out, and return to the behavior that is unleavened, and you don't eat the leaven. So if you make a mistake and eat leaven during Chag Matzot, Yahweh will forgive you. Yahweh will forgive you. But if you want forgiveness, if you want to make teshuvah, it's like anything else. If you want to be forgiven, He will forgive you. If you want to pursue the lust, He'll let you pursue the leaven. Amen. It's like the man, and we give this example, it's like the man who drives down the highway, takes the wrong exit, figures out he's taking the wrong exit, gets back on the highway. He gets back on the highway and goes back in the right direction. He doesn't sit on the service road and start yelling and screaming that he went the wrong way. What do? He puts his foot on the accelerator and gets back on the highway. What do I do if I sin? Get back on the highway and keep going. Repent, turn around, don't park on the service road, and keep going. Okay, Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So this is the celebration of our freedom. Free from S.A.10, free from slavery, free from servitude, free from oppression, free from false teaching, free from hypocrisy, double lifestyle, double-mindedness, free from bitterness, free from envy. And as Israel, everyone in this room has undergone an exodus from theology, haven't we? Come on. Think about the theology that used to tell you that the church was spiritual Israel. And we really believed that. We thought the church was the new Israel. Replacement theology is false theology. That the so-called Gentile church is the new Israel. Now listen to this. They spend so much time trying to replace Israel in their theology. They try to steal Israel's promises, but isn't it interesting, they leave Israel with the curses. And they want to steal Israel's promises, but they don't want to be an observant Israel that keeps Torah. In other words, they want to be Israel, but not the kind of Israel that has to obey the Torah. So many of us we had our own personal exodus, didn't we? When it came to the realization that we were redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, but we hadn't really gone into the promised land. We were still in bondage. We were still in bondage to false thinking, false theology, false doctrines. And I, as a Jew, I was saved, I was redeemed, but I was still in bondage. So in other words, we could not celebrate the Feast of Liberation because when we were in that system, most of us have come out of that system, we were still in bondage. You notice when you were in that system, you didn't keep unleavened bread? Did you notice that? You know why? Because in the Remez, you weren't free. In the Remez, you were still in bondage. When you came out, then you started celebrating Chag Matzot. That's not a coincidence. Yes, with the revelation of you being Israel, then you started celebrating. But the point is, when you didn't realize you were free, you thought you were free by the blood of the Lamb and the 14th of Aviv, not realizing you had to what? Be mikvahd into Moshe or Torah. Once you were mikvahd into Moshe and Torah, then you started celebrating the feast of Chag Matzot because you were free. Does this make sense? So Yahweh has taken us and freed us. This is a day and a festival of our liberation. We're free from, again, to repeat, for the sake, in case the camera didn't pick it up. I know everybody here picked it up, in case the camera didn't pick it up. Free from Hasatan, free from slavery, free from any form of servitude, free from oppression, free from false teaching, free from hypocrisy, free from bitterness, anger, and envy, and free from, as I mentioned, false theology. Go with me, please, to 1 Corinthians 5. 1 Corinthians 5, 7, and 8. We are a renewed covenant Nazarene assembly. As such, here is where Rav Shaul tells us not to celebrate Easter. Here it is. Here it is. 1 Corinthians 5. What was I doing on Easter Sunday? Number one, I was not giving any kind of homage or of my precious time to the Babylonian goddess of sexual and Chaldean goddess of fertility. You'll be happy to know that. What was Rabbi Moshe doing on Easter Sunday? I was watching the Grand Masters of golf from the legendary Augusta National Golf Club. And I watched Phil Mickelson put on his first green jacket. How many saw a little glimpse of yesterday's Masters? Let me see your hand. For all you that criticize golf and don't know a thing about it, raise your hand if you watched any part of yesterday's Masters. Take a look. Half the congregation. Take a look. Any part. See, even Miss Ehrlich watched some golf. You like golf. Tov. See? So, and I'm just learning because I criticized golf all my life till I got to the point where I couldn't move. Now I appreciate it a little bit more. But anyway, there's nothing like the Masters. It was just wonderful to see him win his first green jacket. Nice guy, smiling, very happy, very couldn't happen to a nicer guy. You see him at the end kissing his babies and hugging his wife. Almost died in pregnancy last year. So it was a very touching sports moment, even if you don't quite grasp golf. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So now where are we here? Okay, 1 Corinthians 5, 7 and 8. Therefore, cleanse out the old leaven so that you are a new lump, as you are unleavened, for Moshiach our Pesach is offered for us. So then let us observe the festival. There it is, let us. Were the Corinthians Jews? No, they were Ephraimites. They were members of the nations that had been redeemed. He said to the members of the nations, let us keep the feast. But you can't keep the feast if you're still not free. And the Corinthians were a carnal, were they not a very carnal assembly? They had problems in every area, you name it. Tongues, prophecy, proper conduct, turning the Pesach into a food orgy. You name the problem, and it existed in the congregation in Corinthia. Amen? And they're a primarily non-Jewish assembly, and he says, now listen, are you guys, forget about the Jewish stuff. Are you believers? Keep the feast. Right? But only free people can keep the feast. They've been freed from the theology of the vain conversation of their fathers. But because they've been redeemed by the precious blood of Yeshua as of a lamb without spot and without, 1 Peter 1:20, blemish. The very fact that you came to Brian's house this year means you've been freed from that Greco-Roman theology. That's an exodus in itself, big time. And if you don't think that Pharaoh's chariots are chasing you to this day, trying to bring you back to your old theology, you're wrong. There are people praying you out of this place.
Oh, yeah.
I got to pray, because Rabbi Moshe's got a grip on. That's controlling. I gotta bind those controlling spirit, honey. I can't even pop my Tums without help from my wife. So what am I controlling?
Almost.
See what I mean?
Almost you got it.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. But then again, in my Freemason years, it was easier to control people. And if you believe that, sweetheart, then I'm Barry Bonds. If you think I'm a Freemason, then you also believe I'm chasing Willie Mays for 3rd place on the all-time home run list. Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
Hashem Yahweh.
So the Kehillah is supposed to celebrate the feast. We are free. We are free from false teaching, hypocrisy, envy, bitterness, fear, sin, chet, pesha. You know, we can see Pesach as, we're at the end of this feast, aren't we? It ends tonight. And I'm not happy because I was just beginning to get into the Ruach of the feast. I was just beginning to get into the Ruach of the feast. Because I had a little bit of problems. We had a little bit of problems. But Pesach is like that special night with your bridegroom, you know, your heavenly father, your lover. It's kind of like the candlelight dinner. Amen? It's kind of like a candlelight dinner, where Yahweh tells us He wants us to meet with us on that day. And as such, if we didn't keep the feast, concluded by the 7 days of liberation, it would be rude. And He would ask us, well, don't you love me? Right? We meet with Him because we love Him. So we are free from sin that does easily beset us. Our people were free. When did we walk out of Mitzrayim? What day did we come out of Mitzrayim? The 15th of Aviv, or the first day of unleavened bread, Tov. That is a fact. But it is also chronicled in the hieroglyphics of ancient Mitzrayim, in case you don't believe the Bible, which of course we do. All the world knows that Yahweh redeemed us to free us. And we had been slaves for 400 years. Now here is today's Nazarene quiz. Who was the first to know about our slavery in Mitzrayim? Who was the first one to know, other than Yahweh, about our slavery in Mitzrayim? Huh? Correct. Turn with me to Bereshit 15. So correct. So this was an eternal event ordained to set us free from Mitzrayim, from sin, from the desires of the flesh, which I'll talk about in a little while, all the way back to our first patriarch, Abraham. Now, was Abraham Jewish? No, he was the first Hebrew because he crossed over Ever from Ur of the Chaldees into monotheistic Yahwistic faith. So he was the first monotheist, i.e. Yahwist. he crossed over from the Chaldean culture, Babylonian culture, and how do we become like our father Abraham? We got to leave the same culture he left. The Babylonian systems of religion. So that the fact that we recline at Pesach shows that we are free. Why do we recline and recline on a pillow? Because we're free. Free to obey, not free to sin. We're free to follow him and not free to follow our own interests. Now, Abraham wasn't Jewish. And yet he knew that his people, the Hebrews, would be enslaved. Look at Bereshit 15:13. Yahweh said to Abraham, "Know for certain that your Zerah will be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall be afflicted," or afflict them, "for 400 years. But the nation whom they serve I will judge, but afterward they will come out with great possession." Notice, he even said the time they would be slaves and how they would leave. They would be slaves, they'd leave free, they would be financially broke, they would leave with great possession. Amen. After 400 years, he visited Israel, not to look for a people to marry on Mount Sinai, as is commonly taught, but to redeem the people of Abraham. He was there to take them back with his power, his full vision how to redeem and rescue his people, and his hand, which is why if you come to the seventh day of unleavened bread, as a set apart Mikra Kodesh, today I want you to understand, according to the word of Yahweh, you're putting on tefillin. Isn't that what we just read? Yes. Everyone in this room, without the help of an Orthodox rabbi, is putting on tefillin just by being here. Yes. Hallelujah. And this one, doesn't choke off your blood flow. When you lay tefillin with their straps, sometimes you get numb because of this tightness of the straps. Yahweh said, after 400 years, I will take my people back. I won't marry them on Mount Sinai and get acquainted for the first time. I'll bring them home. And that's what the times that we are living. Turn with me to Zechariah 10:7. Those are the times that we are living. I'm talking about a festival of freedom. Festival of freedom. You know why you can feast with me, your Jewish brother, as an equal at the table of the Commonwealth of Israel? Because you are free. Free from sin, free from obeying sin, free from obeying the lusts of the flesh, free from being a disciple of the devil, which you were and you didn't even know it, and you did his bidding and you didn't even know it. That's a pretty sick state to be in. Having a father called S.A.Dan, and not even knowing he's your father, thinking that you just love life. You're just a go-getter. You just are one of those folks that grab for all the gusto you can get. Isn't that what you thought before when you were a nice worldly heathen? Isn't that what you thought? Well, I'm just one of those folks that like to live life. I'm a 3 Schmidt man. Was that what those beer in those days? Schlitz? Not Schmidt. Schlitz. Just a 3 Schlitz man. And then if you're from Chicago, you think you're really a really cool worldly dude if you drink St. Pauli beer. I met a guy from Chicago. Oh, I don't drink that garbage. I don't drink that. You ever notice how the world measures their garbage against other people's garbage? I don't drink that garbage. I drink Heineken. I don't mess with that Budweiser. That's I don't even want to say what they used to say that was. I'm a Heineken. $2 a bottle? Yeah. Ooh. Real impressive. Real impressive. Zechariah 10. Can I have a page, please? Thank you. 640. 600 40. Page 600 40. 640. Zechariah 10, verse 7. That's who we are, brothers and sisters. We're a liberated people. Why are we in bondage? Why do some of us fall in bondage to certain sin? We'll talk about that in a little while. Zechariah 10, verse 7. Ephraim shall be as a mighty man. Their heart will rejoice as with wine. When Ephraim sits down with wine in Yahweh's Moadim, not for the sake of getting drunk, but in Yahweh's feast is the sign you've come out of the world, you've come out of carnality, you've come out of Christianity, you've come out of Buddhism, you've come out of Sophism, you've come out of Zionism, you've come out of all the isms of the world, Buddhism, Confucianism, Rexicutionism, Rastafarianism. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Now, it says here, look. Ephraim will rejoice with wine, and their children will see and rejoice, their heart exulting in Yahweh. I will whistle for them. How do you think Yahweh whistles? He's been whistling for Ephraim with the sound of the Chatzotzrot and the shofar. Every time you hear this, brothers and sisters, those of you non-Jewish, Talmidim, Nazarenes, Yahweh is whistling for you to put on tefillin on the 15th day of Aviv. Every time you hear the Chatzotzrot, every time you hear the shofar, Yahweh's not going to go to McCrory's, I don't even know if they're still in business, or Montgomery Ward, they're definitely out of business, and buy a whistle and go, whistle like you. No! When Scripture speaks about Ephraim drinking at Yahweh's Moadim and laying tefillin on Yahweh's Moadim, it's not to go to the Orthodox Jews and learn how to get drunk, or go to the Orthodox Jews and learn how to put on black boxes on your head. Here's the whistle. We've been whistling now for 3 hours. Where you been? When Ted got up here and blew the Chatzotzrot, we were whistling. And when we blow the shofar, we're whistling for Ephraim to return. But the problem is, Ephraim in Israel is still not fully free. As is Jewish Israel, not fully free. Because without Mashiach, they're still in bondage. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Ephraim will, Yahweh says, I will whistle for them, notice, and rapture them.
No, that's
Bring that back.
Throw the left answers away. Get it! It's living in the house.
I will whistle for them and gather them. So do I believe in the gathering? Absolutely. How is he going to gather us? Very simple. Those who are alive get gathered together. Those who are dead get gathered up out of the grave together. Which part of gathering do we struggle with? It's called Kivutz Gilyut. Kivutz Gilyut. The gathering of the exiles. Didn't Yeshua say in Matthew 24, I will gather my elect from the four corners of the earth? From the four corners of the winds under the heavens? Not in the heavens, under the heavens. Watch this. I will whistle for them with shofar and chatzotzrot, and gather them, for I shall ransom them. Notice, when does he whistle to you? After their ransom.
Yeah.
The whistling is the sign that we are a liberated people. I hear a whistle, and I don't ever want to stop hearing that whistle. First, he redeems us, then he gives us the ability to keep the feast like the Corinthians. The Corinthians were not Jewish, and Rav Shaul, the alleged apostle to the Gentiles, he wasn't an apostle to the Gentiles, he was an apostle to the nations where all the sub-10 tribes had gone. All the 10 tribes had gone to fill the nations.
That's right.
He said, I am the apostle of the nations. The Greek word is ethnos.
That's right.
He was the apostle to the nations, and he goes, to prove to you I'm not the apostle to the Gentiles, you better keep the feast, just like your Jewish brothers in Jerusalem ought to keep the feast.
That's right.
But how do I know I'm walking as a liberated person? That I am on my way to full and complete liberation. It is because first he ransoms, then he whistles.
Come on.
And yeah, it could become monotonous. We do this every year, but that's the point, to get you ready for the kingdom. Those other systems don't get you ready. In other words, they have a service, let's say, some of those other systems, and there's a prophetic word, and there's utterance in tongues. But tongues has nothing to, you can't find the prophetic word or the tongues in the Bible. It doesn't exist. It's certainly not in the Brit Chadashah, let alone in the Torah. So it's just some personal rhema word. One rhema word plus one rhema word plus three rhema words equals rhema ministry. And there's so much rhema floating around, and it's all personal, it's fresh manna from heaven. Everybody gets all excited, right?
Just for you.
The problem is, can you please show me, I'm a little bit stupid today, can you please show me anywhere from Genesis to Revelation where Yahweh is confirming what you're saying? I can't, it's fresh. Well, if it's that fresh, I don't want it. If it's fresh, it better be in the Bible. Thus saith Yahweh. It is written. I'm all for tongues and I'm all for prophecies. It's got to be somewhere in here.
Yes.
And if not word for word, the concept, the principle, has to be somewhere in here. Make sense?
Yes. Oh man. Come on.
So it is a redeemed ransom people that hears the whistle, comes gathered back to the festal table, lays tefillin on the 21st of Aviv. When do we lay tefillin? On the 21st of Aviv. And they shall increase, notice, I love it, notice. They shall increase even as they used to increase. Meaning Ephraim not only is good when it comes to pursuing idolatry, but on a more important level, Ephraim is good when it comes to increasing.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello? So Yahweh says, but now you're going to increase just like you've always increased, but now you're going to be increased as part of gathered Israel and not on your own. You're not going to produce pagan bambinos. You're going to produce Zionistic children of Sion, children of Yahweh. You don't have to be Jewish. Keep reproducing according to physical multiplicity. But now, please, Ephraim, please produce me some Zionistic babies and not pagan babies anymore.
Yes. Produce from within.
When we're outside the truth, what does Ephraim produce?
Idols.
Pagan babies that don't know how to hear the whistle. Let's be honest, can we talk? When many of us first came to Emunah, okay, we thought that this was a twisted breadstick that got stale. Hello? If I find someone sleeping, just please give them an elbow. Make sure it hurts. Only kidding. We first came and we saw this. We thought this was a piece of stale sesame seed breadstick. Right? And then we found out, no, it's Yahweh's whistle. And he's been whistling for me. What a revelation.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
He's been whistling for us. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I said Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I said Baruch Hashem. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. They will increase